the motorcycle chain, all sorts of things. I've collected them and I'll now deliberately sit down in the studio and arrange them to form creative things. From the photographs that Shegun will show us, you will see some of the works on display. What you are seeing now is the cover design of my exhibition catalog. From this one, you can see at the edge where we have domination of green and yellow on the circle, there are soda can of drink, and at the center, the traditional adire material from Abeokuta here, off cut from tailors, off cut from fashion designers' place. I use them to create artistic works. Now there was an occasion when old musical organ was scrapped, was thrown off in my college. I bought this old musical organ thing and I use it for artistic creation. On this page at the top, I have two works there. I call them pendulum series. In those days when we were young, there are this wall clock that was always displayed in everybody's house. And it has this kind of pendulum swinging, telling the time. So the concept of the pendulum in the wall clock led to the creation of this work, which are about almost 6 feet high. Pendulum series 1, pendulum series 2. I have so many of them that I produce from scrap material. They are all painstakingly arranged to form a pleasing design using disposable materials. From this pendulum series, I have some other works, like the ones I call the royalty series. The royalty series, again, they are majorly off-cut from the fashion designer's shop, and the cover of soda can. They were collected, rearranged, repurposed, and represented to the people that actually threw it away. The one we are looking at now is Lily of the Valley. It's a proverbial statement. In my background, anything planted in the valley will always bloom. So you can see so many colors to show the blooming of the flowers that were planted in the valley. Now we have many other ones. The next work you are going to see is different from this. I've also collected, each time I work with plywood in my studio, all the off-cuts are kept. I keep all the off-cuts, then I now rearrange them to form screen walls. On the screen now, we have 3 works. One of them, the one below, I call it interaction. But is a piece of work 3 in 1. They are supposed to be 3 separate pieces, but should be displayed together as one. Then the one on top, Radiance. Radiance, we have all those old musical record, the plastic bottle cover, the scrap from the musical organ, are all arranged on that circular background, form that thing. Then the pendulum series 4, same thing happens. All the old soda can collected are rearranged, repurposed, and represented on 2-dimensional surface. From this experience, from this exploration, I've been able to discover that there are so many things in our environment that are lying there, and we are not taking advantage of them. Most of us artists, we have limited ourselves to conventional materials, and hence our creativity is limited by the use of those conventional materials. The one you are looking at on the screen now is Olori Ebi in Yoruba language. Olori Ebi simply means the family head. These are all scrap material. The circular silver color you are seeing on top that represent the head of Olori Ebi is the cover of a pressure pot for cooking. It was discarded, I picked it up and brought it into this design. Now that one representing the head, the red blue color below representing the embroidery on the dress of the family head. The family head, in this case, in our own cultural setting, takes the lion's share of everything. So you can see him well embroidered and presented. It goes beyond that. When you see the next work, Segun, are you with me?
Yes, sir.
Please show the next work, please. This one, these are the royalty series. The circular design up that is looking floral is the deliberate weaving of fashion designers off court onto the screen of a standing fan. The standing fan is spoiled. They discarded it. I picked the wire mesh and I wove this onto it. Now mounting it on the rectangular shape behind with the cover of soda can that painstakingly arranged on it. It is because of the photograph now. There's an attachment of beads on it. In the traditional setting in Africa, you cannot see KBACs or traditional rulers without beads on their neck. The next one, please. I have 4 of this series. Majority of them follow through. Now this one this one you are seeing is the legendary tortoise series. I have about 3 of them. In African setting, a lot of stories revolve around wisdom and the crafty nature of the tortoise. The tortoise is always blamed for everything that goes wrong in the traditional mythology. When something goes wrong, it's the tortoise that is going to be blamed. So you can see that different type drawings and composition of tortoise are there. Each one of those things represents the crafty nature and the story that the tortoise has played. One of them, Yayata Kunwale, is a story that in those days, there was famine on the ground, the world. Everybody was struggling for how to survive. So dog was so wise and he took his mother away from the planet Earth, into the spiritual realm. Whenever dog is hungry, it will sing a song, and the mother will let down a rope, and the dog will go up, eat, and come back. The tortoise was watching. So one of these days, the tortoise sang the same song, and as it was going up, the dog arrived and shouted that the mother should cut the rope. That explains mythologically why the back of the tortoise was broken and shattered into pieces. The next one, Shegu, please. The next one you are going to see, the next artwork you are going to see, yes, I call this one Mother of All Keys. On assumption of duty as the Dean of Student Affairs of my college, I saw a lot of discarded pieces of padlocks and keys on the ground. Then I was asking, what are you going to do with all this one? He said, we are going to throw it away. I said, please give them to me. And I went back to my studio, constructed a formwork representing a giant key, and now painstakingly used fiberglass resin to attach those small keys onto it. So that's what we have here, Mother of All Keys. These tiny keys of padlock that were thrown away were collected and reassembled again to form an interesting piece of artwork. As we go on, we will discover that when we move around in this world, what we come across, what we encounter, determines how we express ourselves. If we are so open, if we leave our options open to creative possibilities. I call this one Florascape. It's a composition of off-cut of wood from my studio, tiny bits, and now assemble them on fabric that were collected from fashion design. The fabrics were pasted on the circular shape you are seeing, and the wood attached to it. Then the color was introduced deliberately to make it look like it's a floral landscape. The next one you are going to see has to do with, I have a series of them, and all of them circular, about 6 or 8 of them. The next one, I call it comfort zone. Comfort zone. Those who are in comfort always surround themselves and prevent intruders into their society. Chegun, please move it. No, not this one, back. Yes. Now, the indigo blue at the center of this one are the off-court of traditional adire that is popular in Abeokuta. Now, the edges that are radiating yellow, red, and green are off-court of Sudakan. And now they are all assembled on a circular surface for 120 centimeter diameter. Now, what I have done is that if you look at the center, there are some things that look like small dots. Those are the privileged few that have surrounded themselves with an edge that anybody that does not belong to that group may not be able to penetrate. Shegun, let's see the next one, please. Shegun, let's see the next one. Yes, there are two works on two sculptures here precisely. The first one with yellow, black, and white circular thing on top. I call it royal emissary. This one is the black part of it is like a traditional mask made of fiberglass. The upper part just an assemblage, a collage of off-cut materials from fashion designers' studio. Now the Tower of Success, that one is about 4 feet high, and then it talks about what you encounter in life as you grow. When you are growing, you encounter so many obstacles, but when you get to the top, you tend to forget all what you have encountered. The picture before me now, outside view, is a 120 centimeter by 120 centimeter square work, plywood. Now, it's also an assemblage of soda can cut into pieces, be assembled again to represent like a perspective of when you are looking outside from inside the house. When you are inside a system, you may not know what awaits you if you venture outside. So it's a philosophical statement. You are inside, you don't know what awaits you until you move outside. The outside color we are seeing through the window here is beautiful, is bright, and the photograph we are seeing here is when the exhibition was being mounted. When the exhibition was being mounted, the group of curators were there, sizing up the work, placing them, arranging and rearranging. Now there is a small attachment there. That's myself working in the studio on a sculpture, on a relief sculpture for an organization. During the exhibition also, I have a guest artist with me, a young man who is in the final year at the University of Obafemi Awolowo University, Ile-Ife. He is my second son. He came into my studio and started working with me. And after doing so much work during the lockdown, I felt the best thing to encourage him is to bring him to my show. So the first work you are seeing on top is isolation center. That's what he called it. And the one below it is looking beyond lockdown. There are a lot of possibilities coming up after lockdown. It's even the lockdown that brought out the idea of even virtual meetings. Many people are not used to it. Many of us do not do virtual activities until we make man-to-man contact. But with the lockdown and the social distancing, there is the need for us to keep in touch and yet not come in contact with ourselves. So the second one, looking beyond lockdown. The first one, isolation center. Next one, please. Um, this is the cover of the exhibition catalog, and it gave some credence and appreciation to my employers, the Federal College of Education Abeokuta, that sponsored the program. I want to appreciate Shegun for bringing me onto this activity. It's a wonderful experience. I hope I've been able to put some message across to everybody that is at this meeting. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I will join Professor Shegun to send my own applaud here. Thank you so much. The beautiful works you have on display. It's just like I've not been chance to make the journey down to Ogun State to view the exhibition. I hope before it ends, I will be there, sir. Sir, when will the exhibition be coming
Yes,
to an
the
end?
exhibition is still on. The chief executive of my college has said I should not pack the work away. He wanted so many people to come around and see it. So the
Okay,
work will still be there for as long as the college authority wants. But hopefully, I want to
okay.
move the exhibition to Lagos by January.
Okay, okay. That will give ample time to a lot of us that would like to see the exhibition, the works, the beautiful work. And even Karen, that's you said you have never visited Abeokuta, so this is an opportunity to visit Abeokuta and be a part of that show. So we will leave floor to comments, questions, and contributions. So I guess we want to start with Professor Shegunde. He has click on the hand icon, so we can start with you, sir.
Thank you very much. I really have to say, Dr. Badaru, you've done a wonderful, wonderful job. When I saw the advertisement for the show, I didn't get the full impression. When I saw that last photograph with people hanging on to put the walks on the wall, it just changed everything. Just to see the sizes that we're talking about, the scale is massive. It's so impressive. I don't even have a lot of words to speak right now. But there is one question that I have for you. You made a statement that when you limit yourself, I tried to write it down, but I want to clarify um, exactly what you said so I can use it as a quote later on. Something to the effect that when you limit yourself to traditional materials, you limit your creativity. Am I saying it right? And can I quote you on that when
Yes,
I'm
yes,
writing later
yes.
on?
Because when you limit yourself to conventional materials,
Conventional.
the distance to conventional materials, the distance you can go will be limited by the conventional materials you are using. But if you bring things that have not been used before, then you can start ruminating, you start thinking, you start arranging and rearranging, then you'll be able to come up with something novel.
Thank you very much. That clarifies it for me. And I'll put your name next to that if I use it as a quote. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Okay, the floor is open to all of us. Okay, Karen, you want to say something?
Just thank
Karen.
you. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to this. This was just such a wonderful blessing this afternoon. I'm so honored to have seen all of this.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, this is actually, I didn't expect to be emotional, but America was where I was supposed to go in April. So I am so blessed that you brought it to me today. Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Sorry.
That's
I don't
wonderful.
know.
No, this is great. Thank you.
That just kind of
Thank you
came out of
because
nowhere.
it's good it came out because sometimes we don't really realize the extent of what we're doing here. That it's not just sharing art, we're also sharing camaraderie and our emotions that go with all what we're doing. So thank you so much. Really appreciate hearing that. And I'm sure Dr. Bader,
Oh,
all thanks to you because
I
I
can't.
myself,
I can't
I'm
wait to
so
tell my
glad.
friend at Abercata that I did this today and who I met. He's going to be blown away. Thank you.
So many great people are waiting for you there as you can
Ah.
see. So when you meet in person, okay.
Okay, okay. Thank you, Karen, for that
You're welcome.
contribution. Thank you. And Dr. Bataru, thank you for that great impression, for that great display, and for the presentation. That was wonderful. That was awesome. That was awesome. Okay, I guess Dr. Adele want to speak now. Your mic is unmuted, sir. Dr. Adele.
Okay. At last, we're able to have the presentation. I bless God for that. It's wonderful.
Hello, we can't hear you, sir. Okay.
Oh, I'm talking. Hello.
Okay. I guess it might be network. There. Yes, we can hear you now. We can hear you now, sir.
Yeah, I am. I'm just congratulating Dr. Badaru for the presentation. We had the presentation at last. Thank God for treating us to that wonderful presentation. And also Karen for showing much interest in the work. Actually, the work, half of the work, I have the privilege of seeing everything, helping him to mount everything, even the processes, because I think I am a senior in collecting garbages, in collecting waste. And he, sometimes ago, he was abusing me. He was making jest of me that I will soon use this crap. I will soon use this one. Eventually, he became a scavenger. And it has turned to a wonderful thing that he is doing. Half of the works are not presented. I am sure if you have the opportunity of seeing them physically, it's going to be you will exclaim. It's going to be a wonderful time. Thank you, Dr. Badaru, for the presentation and the explanation of the process. We are learning and we know greater heights, more and more. All grace to help. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, the floor is open to all of us. I guess Mr. Oladimeji is still in the house, and Dr. Yusuf from Zaria, Dr. Yusuf Abdulrasak, Mr. Olufemi Ogunsheye from Abeokuta. Mr. Olufemi Ogunsheye, it will be nice to hear your voice tonight after a while.
Good evening, sir. Happy to be in the midst of great artists. I've been listening, though I came a little bit late. Our school resumed today, and we have started a lot of primary assignments. So it has been wonderful. Dr. Badaru, I really enjoyed your presentation, and those works are really out of the blues. They are mind-blowing. And just like what Dr. Shegolude said, once you see the size of those works, you will be amazed at the effort put behind before you could arrange those things, and therefore you to get those balance and the ability to weave and get those concepts right. They are really intriguing. So it's a very wonderful piece, and I can now see the reason why you are told to still hold on before moving the exhibits from that venue. And I'm really sure those are things which states and countries should collect, because they are unique in their right perspective. Thank you so very much, sir. I really appreciate it. I do off my cap. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Olufemi Ogunsheye. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I don't know who else. Mr. Musiliu Agbola is there. We have Elizabeth Shinama. I guess that is from Namibia. Elizabeth, would you like to contribute? Your mic is muted. You need to unmute yourself. And I have Pastor Felix also in there. Okay, Elizabeth, you can go ahead. We'll come to you, Mr. Aregbeshola. Elizabeth, you can go ahead. You are muted now. Elizabeth. Okay, Mr. Aregbeshola, you can go ahead. Mr. Aregbeshola. Mr. Agbeshala, okay. Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, yeah, okay.
Good day,
now go ahead.
Okay, good day, my guys in the house. I just want to appreciate Dr. Badaru for this wonderful presentation. He has really done a very good job. Well done, sir. I drove my cab and kudos to you.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
Okay, Elizabeth, you can go ahead. Your mic is unmuted now, so you can speak. But we can't hear you right now. Okay, probably we should have Mr. Michael Fashakin. You like to make comments? Okay.
Yes,
Go
sir.
ahead, sir.
Good evening once again, sir. Dr. Badaru, good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you, Mike?
This is Fasha King from Kunle Adeyemi Studios, Lagos, Nigeria.
I know.
Well done, sir. It's a great privilege to have you around, sir. I told my wife, because we're listening together, and we are both artists, so we always hang out together whenever it's art related issues. So when the measurement was set about 120 centimeters, I said that's a huge work. Then when the final picture came in, I said, come and see the people handling this work, and I saw Dr. Adinle behind. I said, hey, now you can tell where the whole thing will lead, because I know him also to be another junk collector. And so far it has been wonderful. It's good to have you around, sir. It's good to really learn from you once again. And I'm beginning to look in that direction. Probably I should start collecting junks too. But I know very well that one of those things that will be limiting or inhibiting some of us is just the space. Because for some of us living in Lagos, where we have limited, before you say Jack Robinson, it's either your landlord is telling you you are becoming something else, or they will start telling you pack these things away from this place. So I know one day when we begin to move to some better spacious areas like Abeokuta, which is very, very good enough the place is still very, very vast for people to still move in and bring in loads of things. So we will experiment more. But in our own little way, we start collecting from tailors, from fashion designers like you now, sir. I think we can still manage those ones, sir. And we are learning, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much for those compliments. Can I make some comments?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
It's interesting. The interesting aspect of it is that I agree with you that you have limitation in Lagos because of space. Even myself in Abeokuta, despite the size of my compound, I'm looking for more space. Because the more you collect these things, the more you look for what to do, and the more the idea comes, and you just continue to. That's why so many artists now, like for example, Dr. Popola is not living in Lagos. He has a lot of space for himself in Ife. He can do what he likes in the premises. Like you have rightly pointed out, Michael, the landlord in Lagos will harass you, your neighbors will harass you, your grinding machine is making noise, your
yes, the space is not even there.
The space is not even there. But I think what artists should do now is like you look for a kind of sanctuary outside the urban where you can explore, experiment, and bring your completed work to the urban for exhibition. I think that's what we should try and be doing now because of space.
Yeah, right, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah, right, sir.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so Dr. Shagolude, you can go ahead, sir.
Thank you. I wanted to make an additional comment just listening to the last two commentaries that I hope and I think I expect to see these pieces in important places like the airport and some other public buildings, because when you come in from the international wing on the old airport. It's now the old airport now. I mean, I don't know when they're going to open the new one. You'll see those species that have been there since I was a teenager. Works by Osemede and people like that. Jimo Buraimo, I think, is there. I think we have a Ben Onwonwu in there. I think pieces like this are important to showcase another phase of Nigerian art, and I hope it's well documented as well by the National Gallery, because works by people like you, Dr. Denley, and I forget the name of the other fellow in Ife. It's marking a certain change or new wave, so to speak, in Nigerian art, and I think we need to identify those different periods if we want to say periods of Nigerian art. This is very important, I think. The other thing you mentioned, Dr. Badaru, you said it's good to work outside the urban area and then bring your work into the urban center. I think that's a very good idea. Over here, I think the United States, Canada, and some other places, they have what they call artist collective, where they rent a warehouse, an abandoned warehouse or building, or an old rail station, and they'll divide it up into studios, and they have storage areas, and people go there to work and produce art. They also have some small amount of dedicated space for exhibition, but from there they take their work everywhere else. It's a brilliant idea that should, I think, be pursued by the Society of Nigerian Artists, so that, or is it Nigerian Society of Artists, so that you can give more people an opportunity to be able to create things like this. So those were the two comments that I had. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Can we have more comments? Mrs. Olaniba Abosade, would you like to make a comment? Ms. Olaniba Abosade.
Hello, everyone. I came in a bit late, so it was after the presentation I was able to join. So I'll just say hi to everyone.
Welcome.
Okay, Mama.
How are you?
Good to have you again.
Yes,
Okay, go ahead, sir. Thank you, Mrs. Laniba. Thanks. We enjoyed your presentation last week. Thank you again for that presentation too. Dr. Yusuf, we like to make comments, sir. Mr. Musili Agbola, it would be nice to hear your voice tonight, sir. Mr. Musili Agbola. Okay. I don't know who else would like to make. Pastor Felix, would like to make a comment, sir. Okay. Dr. Yusuf, you can go ahead.
Kudos to Dr. Badaru this evening for this wonderful show that we have seen. It's a great applause from here, from so many people around me who are watching and listening. My own question is, it started around some of the things that have been mentioned before. For artists who deal with waste, the materials they pick and collect sort of are supposed to like get to the end of the road. They're supposed to like mop them up. I just want to know, is there any occasion where they have to actually also have to abandon some of their things as waste? Because when you have an endless spree in collections, whatever space you have, even when you get to out of the city environment where you have a large space, you are still likely to get choked up. And I want to know, in terms of exploration, is there any particular time where you feel that one of these things that you have picked is not useful for you? I think it's just a question I need to know because I'm writing about artists who actually use things that other people have abandoned in their search when they go for a second harvest. This is just my question. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yusuf. Long time no see.
No problem, sir.
Honestly speaking, everything I collect and kept in my studio, I don't want to part with them. As I'm talking to you now, my studio is already choked up, and I'm just trying to acquire another piece of land near my house so that I can build a bigger studio. If you have watched the documentary of Elana Street, the rate at which that man collects scraps and leftover things from the street, you will marvel. And to some of us who are gradually going to this kind of expression, collection is endless. At times, I go for social gathering. I'll be tempted to pick an empty can of drink. Look at this thing on the ground. This thing can be useful. At times, I go to the servers. I say, look, oh boy, collect those things for me. I will give you a token. And there's no time I go to such parties that my car boot will not be filled with empty things, even wine, cork, all sorts of things. Some of our colleagues are even collecting sachet water nylon, rolling them and making them into artworks. So the collection can be endless. I agree with you. At a stage, you get choked up. But again, it depends on your level of creativity and the speed at which you work. If you work so hard, you will exhaust those materials within a short time. You start looking for more. Like all the off-cut fabrics that I have in my studio, I have sorted them out in colors. They're in different sacks. I'm now going out looking for other colors that are not in the initial collection, so that I can now build all of them together. My brother, I want to encourage you. If you are somebody like me, let us do it together. We will go far with this our thing and bringing new life into this world.
Thank you, sir. I'm enlightened. I'm enlightened.
I have a comment.
Okay. Go ahead, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Yeah. Mr. Yusuf. Yeah. In response to your question.
Yes, sir.
Except.
Oh.
Who is a scavenger, an artist, a sculptor, or an installation artist picks any material and he gets to his studio. There are several stages when you pick materials on the street.
Yes, sir.
The moment you sight that material, something strikes your mind.
Exploration starts
That's
immediately.
Step one. At another time, you may not even know what to use it for, but you select it because it's going to be useful. So when you take them into your studio, the thinking processes of an artist, the faculty begin to work. Especially for me, it begins to work. So the brain begins to work, and the richer your what's it called? I mean your junkyard, the easier for you to think about. The more what's it called? Inspirations will come. But if just like an artist who doesn't have material, but if you have assorted materials,
it's like a reservoir.
Inspirations will come.
Like a reservoir,
yeah,
sir.
You are tuned on. If you are working in the midst of your material, you'll be tuned on. That's it.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'm grateful, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, Elizabeth, you can speak now. Elizabeth, Shinama. Okay, Mr. Olufemi, you can speak, sir. Mr. Olufemi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, okay. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, I do appreciate all what have been said so far. Then my area of concern is after producing some works with junk items. I observed that depending on the intricates in those works, some people may not really love to purchase or procure them and display them in their homes. And eventually, those works may now stay with the artist for as long as he or she could keep them. But one thing I've been able to do to some of those works like that, which I have, is to document them, just like what a doctor have done now. After documenting them, then they can now be thrown out either into the website or into the social media or the art world where people could see and then appreciate them. Then in areas of keeping junks, it will get to a point that except those that understands what one is doing before they could realize that those materials, those junks are actually gold mines. And then in the area of space, there is very limited space which we artists could fall back on, except if you are opportune to have a place of your own where you can have that freedom to display them and then get inspirations from them. Just like what Dr. John said, you will need to see them, you will need to get energy from them, you need to see them constantly and get inspired so that you can produce more works as expected. So it is in line with all what have been said so far. Thanks so very much for the opportunity to contribute.
Okay, sir. Mr. Ladimeji, Mr. Ladimeji, can we get comments, questions, and contribution from you, sir?
Generally speaking, I want to say kudos to Dr. Badaru, because I've been to the exhibition, and sincerely speaking, I was thrown off balance when I saw what was on display. Indeed, he has really done a marvelous job, because I can't imagine how a person of his age will still be so energetic to put all those things together, at least to bring out sense in something that is that is already a tone of material. Seeing them is another way of inspiring people. And I want to equally encourage, it's a pity that people in abroad can't come now, but I want to believe that with the little that they have been shown today, they should equally know that a lot of things, activities are ongoing in Africa and in Nigeria particularly. I want to see a time when Nigerians will appreciate art. Because with what is ongoing now, is as if people on this part of the world are yet to really know what art is all about. But I want to believe with this kind of platform, and then those of us who are equally making efforts, it's a matter of time. They will get used to it and they will imbibe into what art is all about. Once again, for that wonderful presentation, anyway, it's my Oga and then my chairman emeritus. I want to sincerely thank you for that wonderful presentation. And maybe one of these days, I will still have to come and revisit the exhibition again. And likewise, the people at the OGTV are equally after you now, because we have settled that, and they are coming to maybe visit the place to grant an interview concerning that, in order to promote the good work that you have done. Thank you so much. And I equally want to thank Mr. Shegun for this opportunity, and likewise Professor Lude for being part of this, and Dr. Adinle, Mrs. Olaniba, and the rest of them. So thank you so much for making this gathering of today a huge success.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Shegun. Good evening,
Good
Mr.
evening,
Shegun.
sir. Go ahead, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good
Good
evening.
evening, sir.
I want to thank Dr. Badaru for the beautiful presentation, while also thanking Professor Olude and my Oga and Dr. Jonadele for your contribution so far. Above all, you are doing a good job here. The program is quite expository, and we are enjoying you a lot. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you
Sir,
very much.
I don't know, Dr. Badaru, I don't know if you want to make respond to most of the comments that have been made, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Shegun, for the opportunity to make the presentation. Honestly speaking, I am a little bit shy because I don't like talking about myself most of the time. I want people to talk about me. But when it has to do with my work, I have no choice. Because those people who are going to talk about it do not know what is in my mind while I was producing them. So invariably, I cannot dodge, but to just talk about my work. And that is one thing most artists are failing to do. There are some people who are going to work, but will not be able to talk about it. We artists have an attachment to our works. Remember when the risen Christ in the Chapel of Resurrection in July was born, late Professor Benewo said, like losing the child. Because when you are involved in an artwork, you put all your mind into it. You wake up in the middle of the night to go to that work. You are around the street, you are thinking of what will I do next on that work when people are buying artwork. I see them as paying a token for a lifetime investment. Because we have put our life into it. We even take risks. There was a time I had to do welding in the middle of the night because the electricity supply only come at night and I needed to complete a particular job. I woke up in the night and I carried my welding machine. So when people pay for artwork, they pay a token for a lifetime investment. And I want to encourage every artist, don't give up. Whether your works are collected or not, continue to produce. A time will come when those works will be valued. Just like old wine. Wine, the older the better. And I want to say artworks too, the older the better. So keep producing, keep working. One day the collector will come and say, give me everything. And I want to appreciate Professor Lude for that wonderful suggestion regarding our airports. Whether we like it or not, some people have been on the stage for too long. Other artists to also make inway into the possibility of getting their works into the high brows of the society, where the works can be appreciated, where it will be exposed to a lot of people, and that is the essence of art. You can't light a candle and put it under the bushel. Let's bring out our works and let people come and enjoy it. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I appreciate everything. God bless.
Okay, so thank you so much, sir. It has been an amazing moment with you tonight, sir. I hope one day, very soon, you'll be back to present more to us. Because I believe that you are a man with a great wealth of knowledge and experience, and so much to learn from you. And I'm also looking forward to a day again that will visit Abeokuta, that will be able to come around and also enjoy that atmosphere of artistic grandeur. And thank you so much, sir, for being a part of this tonight. You have always been a part of Art Educators Hangout. thank you so much, sir. And we look forward to other people to present to us. And thanks so much to Karen for joining us tonight. I hope one day, very soon, we'll be able to learn, also to learn from her. And I want to say thank you to everybody that have been a part. Yes, thank you. I want to say thank you to everybody that have been a part of this tonight. It has been a wonderful moment, and thank you so much for that. So we look forward to another edition next week. We'll be having a wonderful presentation again by one of art educator also, who is into art in the medicine. So we look forward to that too. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's do it again next week. Same time, 8 p.m. Nigerian time. I don't know what time it is in Canada and USA. I guess it will be around the afternoon. So
It's
same time.
2 p.m. here.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's 3 for
Okay,
me.
thank you.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Karen,
Thank
thank you
you.
for joining us. Thank you,
Thank
Bye.
you.
everybody.
Thank you
Have a
for
good
inviting
day.
me. Thank you so
Bye.
much.
Take
Thank
care.
you.
God bless
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye
Bye.
Bye.
God
bye.
bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye for now. We can just press the leave the meeting and leave. Thank you so
Bye
much.
bye.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for
Bye
joining
for
us. Thank you.
bye bye.
Miss Annie Baba, thank you for joining us. Olaniba, thank you for joining us tonight again. Mr. Ogunsheye, thank you so much for joining us. Dr. Yusuf, everybody in the house. Mr.
Bye
Agbola,
bye.
thank you for joining us. Jesse, Mr. Akinola, Aregbeshola, thank you for joining us. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Ladimeji, thank you. Pastor Felix, thank you. I'm trying to look at the list and say thank you to everybody. Thanks for being a blessing. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you too.